Hey, all right, here we are, live, finally. Welcome to Heroes Unleashed. We are playing the Palladium system, Heroes Unlimited. I have four players right now, two with cameras and two who are broke as F. We have Morgan, played by Spanky. Morgan is a. Describe your
Natural,
character for us, Morgan, really quickly.
natural genius.
He is a
British.
a British natural genius. So he is arrogant as F. Now, by the way, this is adults language, so I'm going to be dropping the F bomb. I didn't want to do that 5 minutes out. We have Patch, who is also playing a tech savvy character. Just give us a small summary of your character so we can move on to the rest of them. Patch, that's played by Steve.
Hi, my character is a tech mogul. He runs a small corporation that specializes in cybersecurity, and he's an inventor of a power armor.
All right. So that is Patch. And next we have Orion, played by Gabe, is a new player to the group. And Orion is playing an alien, um, another tech savvy dude. So give us a brief rundown of your character, Orion. You're muted.
Orion was an alien that was displaced from his home planet, crash landed on Earth 30 years ago, and has been helping the government expand its tech base ever since. He's only recently been allowed to go into field operations.
Okay. All right. And then last but not least, we have Id. Now, just as a precursor, Patch and Id are players in an existing campaign with Heroes Unleashed. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this as a one shot, and it's also going to be a prologue game. So the existing players are going to be able to take any XP that they gain at this in this session, move it forward to to the present time in their characters. Um, we're testing this out. I'm new to the streaming and the twitching and all that other stuff, so I wanted to be able to do that and put the games that I run out into the world and see if anybody's interested. And now, here we are. Id, if you would be so kind, another broke ass with, is that Galvatron? Is that who you put up as your icon, Galvatron?
Megas XLR.
Megas XR. Is that a GoBot? Are you putting GoBots up there? What's the matter with you?
It was a cartoon from Cartoon Network like 15 years ago.
So it was a GoBot. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
He looks like a GoBot. The GoBot were the Project Transformers. The GoBots were the Section 8 Transformers. That's what they were. The GoBots got public assistance. All right, so I'm sorry. I totally just wrecked on you for no reason.
Nah,
But
you
give us a brief overview of id.
All right. Superhero Ed, real name Edward Johnson, is a psychic mutant. By day, he's a police officer. By night, he's also a police officer. Just whenever he can, as a superhero.
All right. Okay, and currently in the current universe, id is a detective, but because this is a prologue, it is back to being a patrolman. And yeah, it's too bad for you, buddy. Uh,
Demoted.
you
I
just
did
got
like that.
demoted. It's pretty sad, but it's what it is. All right. So let's begin. All right, I'm going to start with Orion because Orion has a little bit more, a few more moving parts than everybody else at this point. When you were giving your provisional release into integrating with the public, the caveats were that your turtle by the way, Orion is the inventor of a giant mobile turtle that he uses as a transport and a defensive station. But because you're provisionally being allowed outside into the general public, as public sentiment has started to shift towards accepting of metahumans and their ilk into the general society, the idea was to do it slowly, purposefully, and giving you tons of caveats that you need to make sure that you don't F up and you don't screw up and you don't cause any kind of collateral damage, like some of the metahuman vigilantes that are currently working in the greater Los Angeles area. By the way, we're in this game is set in Los Angeles, if I didn't already say it. The idea is to start putting you out there as one of the faces of the Global Superhuman Task Force. They are under the purview of the FBI. They are the metahuman cops, so the meta cops. You are currently in the recruiting phase for the GSTF in a minor capacity. In other words, you would be considered a GSTF scout, looking for additional talent that is existing. Maybe seeing if you can recruit some of the more popular vigilantes that seem to be working in the for the greater good of the public, and if you and recruiting those who are working in a heroic capacity. So you do have credentials that would allow you to make arrests, but you are to defer to the local law enforcement whenever possible. You do have a point of contact within the FBI. His name is Herman Schultz. He's a senior FBI. I don't even know what their ranks would be. But
Senior?
yeah, I guess senior. Mr. Schultz is 50 years old, Caucasian male.
With the FBI, it would be agents, special agents, and assistant directors and directors.
Okay, so in his case, he's the assistant director. Thank you very much. Assistant Director Herman Schultz. He's 50 years old. He's one of those who is not necessarily fully on board with the program yet. So you're auditioning for his trust and approval at this stage anyway. He's only following the directions of his superiors. The U.S. government is trying to catch up with a lot of the first world countries that have already set up superhuman law enforcement branches and are far ahead of the United States. So that's what we're trying to do, except there's a lot of mistrust. Now, you were given a place to live, an apartment in downtown Los Angeles, not necessarily the ritzy part, but it's livable. You have made it your own in your own way, and you are in every way to report anything back to your superiors should the situation require additional assistance, or you need to get some authorizations for actions beyond apprehension. Okay. You have network connections that are active, stable, that you can utilize for the FBI database. So you basically have everything that you need, with the exception of your big guns, your big mobile tank, and that you can also get to relatively quickly. However, you have to run it up the chain because the thing is huge. I'm assuming it's enormous because you said it can carry 11. We really didn't go over too much of that details, and that's fine for right now. But if it can transport 11 people, I'm assuming it's pretty big. You muted.
It would take up the whole street as it walked down the street. It's meant to be a get in and get people rescued. It's got paramedic bays and whatnot.
Okay.
As far as my unique weapon, since it's non-lethal stun, would that be authorized?
No, that's fine. And you did mention that. That's why I didn't make a big deal of that because it is non-lethal. You're totally okay with that. If you did have lethal weapons, that might be an issue. But understanding your role is more defensive. That in and of itself is what lends to your being able to go out into the greater population because you're not necessarily someone who's going to mow down a group of people. I hope. I think. I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to go to Morgan really quickly because Morgan is the second newest character. When you came to Los Angeles, you were investigating the murder of your parents. And correct me if I'm wrong. That's what the history of your character is. The murder of your parents by a shadow organization that, up until this point, you have yet to get any really good solid leads for, and it's been frustrating. You've been in Los Angeles for about 6 months now, and the well is pretty dry at this stage because as much as people think they know LA from the movies, you really don't know LA. You just know the Hollywood part. The grungy part of LA is grungy, and it's one of those it's a society within a society. So that's been difficult for you to navigate because your training and background plus the way you plus because you're English, you're not getting a lot of trusting. You're not making a lot of good connections in the underworld at this point, or trying to get that kind of information. You are. I'm going to have you as being familiar with the character of Id. Just for everyone's sake, Id is going to be the focal point in terms of his connectivity to Los Angeles because he's a patrolman. His character is going to have more street knowledge than most of you guys. Patch would be the second most knowledgeable because he is an LA. He's a Los Angelino, but he's in a different rung of society. He has his own company. He's very successful. He's an inventor. So as far as street level stuff, that's not necessarily something that he does on a daily basis. So that's going to be your connection. Patch, and I'm sorry, Id is aware. The LAPD was made aware that there are going to be some GSTF agents that are going to be stationed in the city that are going to be operating within the city limits. They understand that there are what's the word that I'm looking for? Where the guidelines as far as who takes authority. Is that what am I looking for? What word am I looking for? In any event, it's going to be like 3 a.m. I'm like, aha! But the jurisdiction. See, I knew there was a word.
It's not 3 a.m.
Yeah, seriously, in my mind. As far as Orion is concerned, he has jurisdiction he only has jurisdiction when he's given authorization, and it goes through the chain of command. But LAPD currently has our jurisdiction in LA. That's just the way it is. Human FBI agents would have more jurisdiction. It's just a chain of command that they've set up right now. It's just a fail safe for him. And it's a comfort measure for the LAPD because there are a lot of what's the word? I'm going to use the word racist, but it's xenophobic. So there are a lot of the officers, detectives, squad captains. They're very xenophobic when it comes to vigilantes running around the city, and the introduction of the GSTF to California by the governor was a real big sticking point for the LA for the local police across the state of California, because the police unions and local governors and local government, are wary of metahumans having any kind of control over human life. So that's where you guys are right now. Patch, this is pre-Seraph, so you haven't been introduced to him yet. You're in the position right now where you're considering joining a private military group with some access and resources that you don't otherwise have, but you're still wary because they come with some strings. The strings being the metas that are in that group that they're introducing you to. The first one that you were introduced to was a tiny Asian man who's running it, and he's weird. Yeah, he speaks in prose. He drinks tea all the time, and he just seems weird. He keeps calling himself the Monkey King, and you've done some research, and you understand that is a myth in Asian cultures. There's different varying levels, and he's been trying to recruit you into that organization. You haven't made a decision yet. You would know Morgan as part of your background. His family comes from well-to-do. He's been in town. He's made contact with you. You understand that his parents were recently killed in what was deemed an accident. But in conversation with Morgan, he is convinced that his parents were murdered. So that's where everyone is right now. All right. And Id, you're patrolling with your partner. What was her name? I can't remember her name now. Let's just call her
Jessica?
Is it Sally? All right.
Abby. Her name is Abby.
Abby Kincaid, that's right. Man, someone took notes. Awesome.
I got a few.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. And Abby is one of the xenophobes. She's a great cop, but she's a xenophobe. She does not know his identity. His alter ego as Id, a vigilante who is on the LAPD's radar. He's not deemed a major menace or threat, but he is on the watch list. Okay. Partnering with, I'm going to start with Patch. You're working at your lab, working at some algorithms for a new project. Your power armor. You've been going through the motions of setting it to work and as close to as Iron Man setting as you can, as you have been able to put together. There have been offers that are out there, not only from the private military group, but from the Aegis, which is a metahuman contractor that gives opportunities for vigilantes to work across the globe. They're basically a private military group themselves, but they have some renown. And they've been throwing out feelers to you to see if you had any if you would be interested in either being acquired or in some sort of a limited partnership. Sharing some information, requesting you to share some proprietary information. So you've been going back and forth on that. Your wife currently thinks that that's a great idea because the amount of money that you guys can make off a deal like that. She has a head more for economics than you do. You're more the inventor, and it's a Tony Stark Pepper Potts situation. She runs the business, and you run the tech, and you run the lab, you run the ideas. But she's not been able to convince you yet. Okay. The day was the well, let's just call it's a Thursday, and it's 10 p.m. and you get a call that your wife Patches she calls you on your watch, and she's like, "Okay, so we're getting another call from that Aegis place. What do you want me to tell them? They're really pushing hard for this merger." I don't know if you're there, but you're muted.
Just tell them we're not interested at the moment. We're in the middle of a project.
She said, "Okay, I think it would be a good idea if we heard them out at least. How about if I just get a proposal from them? Would you be open for that?"
Yeah, I mean, I want to look more into them though. But yeah, I'll see what they want to offer us.
She said, "All right. Well, maybe that would buy us a little bit more time. Things are getting a little tight around here. We need. You've been putting a lot of resources into that suit. I want to make sure that when you're done, if you're not gonna patent it and sell it to, if you're not gonna do anything with it but use it and do some of that, crime fighting thing that you've been wanting to do, we want to be able to keep living. It's like got to send the girls to college. Can't do that from a suit. Just throwing it out there. So, all right, so I'm gonna get a proposal. She's like, "I'm gonna get a proposal, and then we'll talk, and we'll see about that." But they've been very, very pushy, really pushy. And
That's the part that bothers me.
She's like, it's been bothering me too. I'm glad you said it first. Okay. All right. So let me take care of that, and you finish up and get ready for. It's just like, and try to make it to bed before 3 a.m. It'd be nice to see my husband every once in a while, even though you snore like a bear. I'm okay with that, please.
I promise I will.
Okay. So the
Bye,
screen
honey.
the screen goes blank. The armor has been frustrating you because there's some components that you're trying to integrate, and again, we haven't gone over it, but assuming that you're trying to make a sophisticated power armor, there's some combinations of things that you're working on that are frustrating you. You've been going about it in a very methodical way to make sure that it works properly, which is a good thing, but it's also taking a lot longer than you initially anticipated. And there's some programming language that you've been working on that is just not integrating into the systems. You know that you're gonna need some more advanced help, some more advanced tech, and that is extraordinarily costly. And your wife's been warning you against that because making that kind of investment with no income coming in, it's going to be tough.
Suicide.
Okay. So we're going to go back. We're going to go to Morgan. You're at your flat. I'll say flat because you're playing an Englishman. And you have a lot of you have photos and files on a big open table, one of those string walls where you post pictures and you're trying to connect dots and everything. And
Yeah.
it basically looks like a spider web. You've been crisscrossing the globe trying to get more information, but the more clues that you've been getting, the more frustrating it's become because a lot of them end in dead ends. There's information that's out there that it's just not jiving. In the sense of there is one family that is interconnected in most of these through their holdings as you've been doing your digging, and that's the Simmons International. Now, recently, the Genevieve Simmons, who is the CEO of Simmons International, made the news when she was abducted by a what was deemed a metahuman terrorist organization. Former, a couple of them were former U.S. military, so former expats, a couple of Americans, and they're now hiding out in Eastern Europe. And she had placed a 15 million bounty on each of their heads because currently they still have her niece, and they're holding her against her will. So that's something that you do know. Their holdings are vast. So they're an international conglomerate. A lot of the dead ends that you've been hitting end with Simmons. So that's been your only really through line to how your parents were murdered. Because at every turn, there something that's associated with Simmons family comes up.
Okay.
Okay. The frustration that you've been having in LA, again, because of the environment, you're not necessarily being accepted into any real high society functions. For some reason, there seems to be a roadblock being put in front of you. You can't get into swanky parties. If you try to make the last contact you tried to make, you were immediately shut down. It was it was a company CEO by the name of Martin Simmons. I'm writing this down as I say it so that I don't forget it. He's the CEO of Simtech. Simtech is on the cutting edge of medical cybernetics. So replacement arms, like bionics for wounded warriors. That was their initial company line. He himself was a veteran of the Gulf War, and he had his right arm blown off by an IED. So his family had invested in a tech company that was building cybernetic replacement parts, and they're at least 30 years ahead of the nearest competition in that. So he was your last lead, and the interaction was strange in that he seemed like he wanted to help you, but he was extraordinarily reluctant. Okay. That night, as you're going through, you get an email. It just has an address. Okay.
Does it have a time?
It does not. No.
So I'm gonna pack up the little stuff that I have, and I'm gonna go check it out.
Okay. What little stuff are we talking?
My can of mace, my concealed armor under my clothes,
Mm-hmm.
my optics band that looks like sunglasses,
Okay.
and I'm gonna call Id to find out about the address and how to get to it.
Okay.
Since it's the local.
You're in your patrol car. Abby's getting. You're in your lunch break. You have the 10 to 7 shift. So no, not 10 to 7. You're in your mid shift, and your personal cell goes off. Buzz, go.
Ring.
Officer Johnson, who's this?
It's me, Morgan. I need some help.
What you need?
I was given this address. I don't know where it is, since I'm still fairly new, since I'm alienated out here.
The address he gives you is in a it's in the Chinatown district, and not a very good part of it.
I'm gonna let him know that. No, it's not in a good district of Chinatown. Are you sure you want to go there by yourself?
I mean, well, since it seemed like you invited yourself, it'd be great.
Oh, hold on. I'm on patrol. I
Oh,
can't just roll out there.
what time do you get off? Are you free later? I mean,
We're looking at when the sun comes up.
okay. So then tomorrow, then I guess.
Oh.
Would that be okay?
Early in the morning, I can't take a nap. Is it that much of an emergency?
Another
Well-
email comes up and it gives you a time of midnight.
It's well, I got a mysterious email that says to be there at midnight, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere that's not safe without any law enforcement individual to help me.
I'm so glad you're not doing a Cockney accent.
Okay, I tell you what. When you get there, stake out the place real quick. If it looks really shady, just give a call in, and I guess I could fake a way to get over there.
Thank you. But I see.
I don't promise any miracles.
All right. I see about getting an Uber,
All right.
but I'm gonna put an address like 100 numbers away, so it'll be at least 1 or 2 blocks away, so that way I can walk up and try to stake it out.
All right. Keep me posted.
Okay.
Okay. So Abby comes back in. She hands you your sandwich. She's like, another one of your hoes that you're talking to. You are such a dog. Disgusting.
That hurts my feelings. I prefer to call them friends with benefits.
Oh, that's even worse. Gross.
I can't be friends with my benefits.
Yeah, I don't think that made very much sense. Just eat the damn sandwich.
So mean to me.
Shut up. You love it. All right.
A little bit. Might be a bit of masochist.
And I'm a sadist, so we're perfect. Perfect.
Cheers to that. I think about it as a sandwich.
All right. There was a call that went out, but it wasn't. Another patrol car had picked it up. Besides that, the surprisingly, for a spring night in downtown Los Angeles, it seems extraordinarily quiet. It's a Thursday. It's a thirsty Thursday. People are out, going. Tourists are still out and taking pictures, and there's still a bustle. And you psychically, it seems like all is clear. You haven't really gotten any real hot flashes like you would, like you have, to help you in your investigations, allowing you to rise through the ranks a lot faster than a patrolman should, and seem relaxed. It's a little unnerving that it's so quiet. You're just thinking, I'm gonna eat this sandwich, but I know I'm gonna have to shoot somebody at some point because you're LAPD. I'm just assuming you're gonna shoot somebody. I'm sorry if there's any of my 4 people watching this that are part of the LAPD, but they shoot a lot of people. Okay. So, Mr. Orion,
You have 89 people watching.
say what?
There's 89 people watching.
No, that's 89 people that have seen it.
Oh.
Okay. Which is fine. I'm totally not complaining. Whatever. All right. When you're at your apartment, it's a relatively quiet night. This is pretty much your second week in this place, away from the confines of the compound that they had you in. They're still working on their main facility for the GSTF. It's in a tower downtown. Pretty swanky facility. They have it. They have the top 15 floors of that. It's a 50-story building. No, it's a 35-story building. They have the top 15 floors, and they're decking it out. Everyone is going to get state-of-the-art equipment and gear, including especially this is especially for the GSTF here. There's only 2 other offices. Now I don't remember the one in the Midwest, but there's one in the Midwest. There's one in California, and there's one in New York. The New York office has been operating for about a year and a half. The California offices haven't really opened yet, but unofficially you've been there for 6 months. Okay, there haven't been a lot of calls in terms of metahuman. There's been metahuman activity. There are quite a number of vigilantes that are operating within Los Angeles County, and the one that is on that's on the radar right now for either recruitment or retention is a metahuman named Id, codenamed Id, and the reason that his file is been pushed to the top 5 for recruitment or retention because he is a psychic, and psychics are extraordinarily rare and extraordinarily valuable to the FBI. And they could be dangerous in that same vein. So that's kind of where you are right now. There are some folks that you've been able to make as far as contacts locally. Let's just write them down here. So I forget. All right. There's one that you've been looking at, and he's a former gangbanger. His name is Hector Chavez. He went by the moniker of Tiro, or Bullet, and he has a body hardening and body weaponry. So he used to be a hardcore gangbanger for the Crips. He went to prison for 4 years. He is 25 years old, and he has since left that life. He's been operating as a vigilante in El Barrio, and he's expanding his territory as far as chasing down baddies. Let's see here. Let me write that down. Former Crip. Right. So you have a full workup of his
Hector with a C or Hector with a K?
with a C. All right. And the cops have been giving him a little bit of leeway because he's working in parts of town that they don't even care about. And he was able to bust up a small drug ring, and his powers are make him as his abilities, his willingness, his redemption arc is what's put him on the radar for the GSTF. The fact that he's a local, and he is in the system, so it's not like they don't know who he is making him a prime recruitment candidate. Now he does have your information, so that night you get you get a call from him. So he calls he calls your private number. Does he now? I'm gonna put it to you. Does he know you as your character alter name or your character's real name? What is your character's real name? Hold on a second. I think I would know that by now. That's not it. What am I doing? There it is. Training. All right. Do you have did you adopt a human name, or is it just Orion? I mean, you've been on Earth for 30 years. You muted.
Yeah, I just went with the name they called me at the military base, which was Orion. My character doesn't have vocal cords, so I can't talk on the phone. So would it be texting instead?
Okay, I totally forgot about that. I'm sorry about that. You get a communication. How about that? You get a communication.
Right.
It says, "Yo, oh, this is Heck. I am at," and he gives you an address. He says, "There's some funky shit going down at this warehouse, and I think I saw a body bag being brought in."
Okay. I'd send not the full message, but send an email to Herman, letting him know that one of my contacts has some suspicious activity, and I'd be heading down to check it out.
Okay. You don't get an immediate response. Herman's not one. Herman doesn't like you. You're blue. He's a xenophobe. He doesn't actually want this program to succeed. You get a response about 10 minutes later as you're pacing the room, trying to figure out what the hell. It's taking him so long. He just says, "Proceed. Report any findings. Do not engage unless absolutely necessary."
I'd head down.
Okay. So you go down. Id, were you going to join Morgan or no?
If he's called me, I've tried to fake a way over there. Like I need to respond to something.
No, he didn't. I'm just saying. I spazzed out for a second. He just let you know about he just talked to you briefly and didn't necessarily he didn't say to go down, and you did say that you were on patrol. I apologize. Okay.
No problem.
So you get Morgan's there first at that location. The street address leads you to a couple of vacant lots, and there's one brick building. It looks like an old firehouse. All the windows are the outside windows are boarded up on all sides. There is one light just above the big garage opening where a fire truck would come out, and a side door. The side door being on the side of the garage door. So it's the street is empty on both sides. Just nothing. Both of them are vacant lots. Busted chain link fences, and there's a highway overpass just beyond the firehouse, and the freeway overpass, and beyond that, this street is relatively empty. But you do see, and I'm talking to Morgan now. You're directly across the street when you get there, and you're able to see these things. There is a black SUV, mint, parked right outside.
So I'm gonna just wait a little bit and see what happens.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call Id and let him know that this looks a little shady.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't necessarily need to talk to me.
No, Id, ring.
Ring, cling. I don't have the sound.
Yeah.
Officer Johnson speaking.
Yeah, you told me to call you in case there's something up. It's me, Morgan. This looks kind of funny. There's an SUV out here parked. It doesn't look. I mean, it looks full of people in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, which means either they're waiting for me or they're waiting to do something to somebody.
All right, I'll check it out. I'm on my way.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
With that, I'm gonna look over at my partner and tell her I got a lead from an informant.
She's like, you do know you're not a detective yet, right?
Gotta play the part that you want.
Oh. Oh my God. Is that from drama school? Is that what you're doing? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah, it's been
It's
my
like-
little twist on dress for the job you want.
You are so corny. All right, fine. Let's just go. There's nothing else going on.
All right, we're going to Chinatown.
Whoa. Wait. Well, what?
Yeah. Going to Chinatown.
That is way out of our area.
I know, but I ordered some carry out. Enough for the both of us. Let's roll.
I know I'm going to regret this. Fine, go. You take off. Lights on or off?
Let's not spook anybody just yet. Lights off.
Okay. Okay. You're on your way. Morgan, you're there. Orion, you do have a personal vehicle aside from the giant turtle that you're using right now. It's a nondescript car. When you pull up, Morgan, you notice the car. It's easy to spot because it's the only lights. Like there are street lights peppering this block, but not enough to illuminate the entire street. So when Orion pulls up behind you, it lights you up. So you were in a dark spot, and now you're not in a dark spot again. And as you're pulling up Orion, you just see this hunched over. No, I don't know. How tall is your character?
6 foot and 185.
All right, so you see this dude standing in the middle of nowhere, just standing there, and he turns to look at you. He's like, "What the hell?" No. You guys engage in combat. Roll initiative. I'm sorry. So I mean, you're pulling up. That's the address. Everything that I explained to Morgan certainly applies to you. Just the firehouse. There's the freeway overpass. Beyond it, maybe about 50 yards beyond it. Aside from that, this is a pretty much deserted part of town.
All right. Well, I'm
Oh no, I'm talking like Orion, not Id.
okay. That's what you're talking about.
You're muted, dude.
He said it's not working. Push to talk is not working. Then remove it.
Give me a sec here. Okay. Well, I hit unmute.
He should be fine now.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I don't know what was going on. It wasn't working at all. So I'm gonna send a message to Hector, asking him if he's meeting me here.
So you quickly get a text, and he says, "Look up," and you look through the top of your windshield, and you can see him flashing you with a flashlight from the roof.
All right. Gonna send a telepathic message to him. Is there a way up there?
That you can see from where you are right now? No.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna send him a telepathic message that I'm gonna try and find a way up.
again, he flashes you, and I'm gonna say that you, Morgan, roll a perception. You rolled a 30. You have a 31 perception. Holy crap. Okay, so you definitely notice that. You see him look up through his windshield. He's not looking at you, so you just follow his eye line, and you can see the whoever is on that roof. This is a 2-story building, so it's not that high. And you can just see him flashing one of those little tiny LED flashlights.
So I'm gonna try to go back into the shadows since he came up and I was like frozen. I'm gonna like stumble off like I'm a drunk, and then try to shadow him.
Okay.
Since-
The block itself, it ends. It's an L in. It's an L. It's an L corner. So coming towards the firehouse, it's that street. Then to the right, the firehouse is directly across the street from where you are. Orion is parked to your left behind you, so you can just go down that block down the block to the right, or go back from where you came from.
I'm gonna start going back away from the lights of his damn vehicle because he hasn't turned them off yet. And
I would have when I turned the car off.
when I double back around, I'm gonna see about following this guy. Since I saw him, I saw that he's a big blue guy.
No, because it's nighttime and he has his headlights on you.
Okay. So I double back around to see if this individual is gonna.
If you pass him, if you pass him and walk by his car, you will notice that he is blue, sitting in the driver's seat. They're not tinted.
So
they really don't like him at all.
I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep walking.
But it's LA, so it could be cosplay. You don't know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna walk a few cars past and then duck behind one and see if I can follow this individual.
Okay. All right. Patch. Are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. One of your program alarms alerts you that a server at your facility is being accessed. And it's trying to trace the signal.
It's trying to trace a signal.
Mm-hmm.
So
in other words, your alert comes up, and it just says it's being unauthorized access is in progress. That's what I meant.
All right. So I'm gonna jump on, start running countermeasures.
Okay.
Activate the firewall. Active firewall.
All right. The program itself seems to be coming from a piece of software that you created. So in other words, it's something that you created, but the passwords that they're using are not the way they're trying to access it using their passwords. The passwords that they're inputting are not allowing it access into the server, but they did trigger an alert because whomever is trying to access your server tried at least 4 times.
All right. Can I run a trace on the IP?
You can. It is a section. It is it gives you a ping. You're able to trace that address to exactly where these guys are. The software is connected to the Power Armor project that you are working, and you don't understand how that's even possible.
What the hell? All right. So what information can I glean from
the software itself is it's part of that. It's part of the armor, and it runs diagnostics. It also it has a security package on it that is being utilized to try to break your code. So in other words, the programming is being altered, has been altered, but has been done so sloppily.
The hell. All right, so I know where they at. The person who did this.
You're able to get a GP. You're able to ping it to the location.
So I'm gonna counterhack their system.
Okay.
I'm gonna infiltrate their system, see what's connected, see if I can find a camera or something.
All right. Make a what? That would be a hacking roll.
Yeah. Here it is.
All right. When you do that and you do the counter hacking, the language that they're utilizing is Chinese.
Oh fucking jinx. All right, so um, dirty bastards. They should stick to farming credits. Uh, is it a national? Is it private?
It's private.
It's private.
Hmm.
All right. Is there any cameras attached to the?
Yes. You're able to access what looks like a laptop camera,
Mhm.
and you can see two guys. One is looking directly at the keyboard and the monitor, so they're not even aware that you're looking at them. And then there's another dude to his right that is hunched over him with the cigarette in his hand. They're both talking. Um, do you speak Chinese? Does your character speak Chinese? I don't know.
No.
Okay, so they're speaking in Chinese, so you can't make out. You obviously can't make out what they're saying, but they are actively, they're engaged in whatever conversation they're engaged in. It is heavy.
All right. So
Whoever's sitting at the terminal is like, "Wah," and the other guy's just like, just like pushing him on the shoulder, like trying to get him to move.
I'm gonna record their conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna access their hard drive and download any pertinent information about who they are, who they may be,
Okay.
what other softwares they're using.
Mm-hmm.
Um, specifically contact information, like who they may be working for.
Okay.
Is looking from the camera. They're not dumb enough to have their cell phones connected. Their cell phone connected to the computer, are they?
You don't see it. You don't have that connection. No.
That connection.
Mm-mm.
So I'm
They're using a Wi-Fi signal. So
they're using Wi-Fi signal.
yeah, that's the other part that's like bugging you out. Like however they managed to get this piece of software from you, they've butchered it and are trying to use it to invade the rest of your system.
Are their phones connected to the Wi-Fi?
You would need to make a hacking check.
Damn it.
So you're not able at this point to figure out you can't see their phones if they're connected to the Wi-Fi now.
All right. So like I said, I'm gonna take pictures of them and
Mhm.
record their conversation,
Mhm.
and from from on their side, I'm gonna start dismantling any access they try to get. So like if they get like a little bit in, I'll put up a wall on their side to block it,
Okay.
to keep them dancing around the program to try to hack.
Mhm.
I'm keep them dancing around, and I'm gonna keep collecting as much information as I can off their drives.
Okay, that's a programming. So make a programming roll. All right. As you're doing this, you can see the one that's at the terminal. He's just like getting more and more frustrated. He's just making the motions, is slamming his hands. The other guy's screaming at him, and you can hear someone in the background yelling. So there's at least three distinct voices here.
All right.
Make a perception check. And I'm making you make all the rolls today. you notice at the top right of the screen what looks like a yellow, like a metal pole. And he's like, "Is that a fire? Is that a fire pole?"
Fireball.
Mm-hmm. Like,
So
yeah.
since I'm
That's
in the
what they're
machine,
called,
I'm
right?
gonna get
Is that what they're called? The poles.
fire poles. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I know. For today, they're fire poles.
there's the sliding poles they use that
Yeah.
the firemen use to access to different levels.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still use those, but yeah, that they were called fire poles. Um, I'm going to I'm going to see if I can. Yeah, I'm gonna see again if I can see if I can. There's any since their Wi-Fi. Check see if I can find any phones.
Okay.
Their phones on there and stuff.
All right. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go back to id while you're doing that. Make a roll, and then we'll come back to you. The id you finally get to the location, and there's a couple of parked cars. You you don't necessarily see a lot of activity. There's nobody on the street right now. As you're sliding past you. So Abby looks over. She's like, "So where's your guy? What are we doing here?" It's like I don't
You
see.
said there's
She's looking.
a
She
abandoned car
takes
in the
out.
street.
She was about to take out turn on the spotlight on the door. I don't know what they're called. I'll just say spotlights.
The spotlight.
Yeah. So she's about to turn it on.
All right, I'm gonna stop her real quick.
It's like,
You said there's a abandoned car on the road.
no, there's 3 cars on this street, and it makes a sharp right, 90-degree turn to the right, and there is a shuttered house that's on that right side with the 3 cars that are there. The 2 that are parked directly in front of that abandoned house, they look old. The one in front does not.
All right,
That's the one closest to the corner.
I'm gonna lower my voice and whisper to my partner to follow me as we make our way towards that house.
Are you driving up or are you walking up?
Walking.
Okay. So you're parking your car. You're gonna leave it in the middle of the street.
We're gonna park it first, just out of sight.
Now, Morgan, you hear another car coming up. You can, you distinctly make out the top lights, and you can see it's a cop car.
So I'm gonna try to, like I said, stay hidden.
Mm-hmm.
I made a power roll and see who's in the vehicle.
All right. The headlights again prevent you from looking into the vehicle. Once the car turns off, you do see 2 figures in the shadow.
I want to see if I
You don't
can
have night
call
vision.
him to
Do you
see
have
if
night vision?
one of the figures pick up the phone.
Okay. So, Id, your phone, you knew Id, right? That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your phone does it does buzz again, and it is from Morgan.
All right, I pick it up. And
You can see
whisper
the
into the
shadow
phone.
pick up put the phone to his ear.
Yeah, pick up my phone.
Yeah, he does that. I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna come towards them. Psst, psst, and I'm gonna walk up to them.
Okay. So as soon as he pops out from between 2 cars, Abby's like, "What the fuck?" And she reaches. She immediately takes out her sidearm.
I calm her down. Like put it down. He does this all the time. He's a bit of a creeper.
She looks at you like, "What are you talking about?" She says, "Who the fuck is this? The guy?"
Yeah, this is my informant.
So she looks at you. She's like, "Yeah, you are lucky. I was about to put one in your head. So don't ever do that. Just word to the wise. Don't ever do that to LAPD, especially."
He's gotten it from me plenty of times.
I'm sorry. I'm just. There's a blue person who went up in there, and the people that are parked in that vehicle went in that building.
So she's just like, "You're not from around here, huh?" What's that accent? Are you British?
Scandinavian.
With a British accent?
Probably on his mother's side.
What the fuck? She looks at you. You know the weirdest people. So what are you
I
talking
diversify
about?
myself. You got to get out more.
So it's just like blue, like blue, or
Blue,
like,
blue, blue, like the
like a
Fifth
s-
Element
like a
woman.
Smurf.
Blue.
It's like,
Mm.
it's like
It
Fifth
sounds like a
Element. What the fuck
meta
is-
to me.
this-
And there was somebody on the roof signaling him with a flashlight.
She looks over at you.
I couldn't see that well, but yeah, this is the address.
She looks over at you, and she's just like, "Okay, this is getting weird. We need to call this in." It's like, what are we even doing here? So she said, "The
Like-
blue guy, roof guy, creepy, out of the way place. What's happening right now? What are we doing here?"
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing here. Finding out about this blue guy, Morgan. What can you tell me more is going on here?
It seems like they might be doing some illegal activity. There were some gang members that were here. They were
I look around.
part of the local gang. They were parked in the SUV. They went in. You could check the SUV. There still might be somebody in there.
You guys do see the SUV as you get closer to the corner. There's no one in the sedan because Orion is trying to make his way up the building, and he's out of sight, and no one has night vision. So it is approximately 11. It's 11:30 by the time all you guys coalesce, and the street lights barely illuminate most of the block going towards the right. Now, as you guys are talking, and she's just like, okay, she's like, wait a minute, I've seen that. She's like, so she motions for you to come over.
I had to go over to her. What's going on? What's going on?
Hold on. So she says, look at the. It says like driver's side tire. Look at the hub. So the entire the thing looks like it's probably like an $80,000 Land Rover. Now the on the hub of the front driver's side, you can barely make out, and you can barely make out a hint of green. And she's like, that looks like, and she reaches into her. She's one to peep, just so you know this. She's a peeper. She likes peeping on people and making fun of them. So she takes out her little binoculars and she looks. She's like, "Yep, Jade Dragon. These are triad. We need to call this in."
All right, you call this in. I'm check around real quick.
She said, "You know they're gonna want to know what the fuck we were doing here."
Yeah. Just tell him a friend of mine called me and he was in trouble.
All right. So she gets on her shoulder, and you can hear, barking in the official please help us, my partner's trying to get me killed call. And that's where you guys are right now. Orion, you're searching around the building for an entry that isn't going through the front door. There is a makeshift ladder. You can see it. It's a rope ladder, and as you get closer to it, you get flashed again by Hector. And he points to it because he knows that you can't speak. So he points to it, and he's like, motioning you to come up.
I'll head up the ladder.
All right. It's not an easy climb, but you make it. And when you he helps you up the last few rungs of that ladder and pulls you over the edge. He's like, okay, so look, there's a guy. He says there's a really bad guy there. His name is Randy Cho, and he's Jade Dragon, but he's a psychopath. He's like, whatever he's doing in this place is bad. We need to stop him. He's like, I'm telling you, I saw them bringing in what looked like a body bag. I don't know. He's like, and then I tangled with this Randy Cho back in the day, He said, "This guy's a freaking lunatic." It's like I didn't want to call the cops because I don't want to get cops killed right now.
Right now.
He said, "Why?" He said, "I don't want." Yeah, that did sound weird. He's like, "I don't want the cops to get killed over me being nosy." He said, "So you're gonna do your mental thing, your blue thing, your crazy, alien, whatever you say, whatever this is. You look like a giant Smurf, Papa. I don't know. I'm tired.
Send a message that I'm not meant to engage this. I'm only meant to gather information and report.
I was like, okay, well, let's go get some information. He's like, I got the roof door, Jimmy. Let's go check it out. So let's kick some bad guy's ass.
All right, I'll head with him.
Okay. All right. The door isn't the quietest, but you can hear a lot of yelling as you get closer to it, because he propped it open, and you can hear a lot of yelling. Does your character know Chinese?
He is supposed to. I was going to pick English, Spanish, French, because America, Canada, Mexico, and Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that on the character sheet yet.
Okay. We'll give that to you for now, and you can hear them yelling at each other that it's not one is yelling, it's not working. The other one's like, get this shit to work. We need that info. And the other guy's just like, hurry the fuck up. It's like, I want to get the hell out of here. It's like, if they catch us, we're all fucking dead. That's the yelling. They're cross yelling at each other. So the creak of the door is drowned out by their screams because it's echoing throughout this place. The top floor it's pretty much abandoned, so it's just one giant space. You can see the stairs at the far end of the room. The space coming from inside is just a small step down, and maybe about 12 feet. It's just like a 12-foot wooden ladder. You're on the top floor. The space itself extends about 100 feet and 50 feet wide. So it's a long rectangular building, and when at the end of it, you can see the metal pole that the firemen use to slide down. There's a hole below it. There is a spiral staircase on the left hand side. There's a pole on the right. The spirals on the left. There's bathrooms. So it was the living space of this place. There's an old office that has no equipment in it, but the voices are distinctly coming from those openings.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and sneak over there.
Mm-hmm.
See, not that close, but I'm gonna try and get a view of what's going on.
Okay.
With what they're doing.
Do you have prowl?
Yes, I do.
All right, make the roll, please. Okay. So you step on something that's crunchy on your feet. It's just a piece of broken glass, and you pop it under your feet. And Hector's he stops. He's like, bro. He said, "Bro, are you trying to get us killed? What the hell?"
Send a message. I need to look at what's on that screen.
Say, okay, take it easy. It's like, look where you going. So we don't even know if they got guns. It's like, I can protect myself. I don't know if I can protect you. All right. So slowly you make your way, avoiding the obvious refuse that could potentially make enough noise. Again, their screaming is drowning out your fumbling right now. The closer you get, the more I'm gonna say this. I'll give this to you. The closer you get and the more noise you make, the more likely it is that you're gonna get caught, or at least they'll notice. Now, what is it? So Patch, you're able to the There's one phone on a Wi-Fi.
All right, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna access that phone.
Okay.
I'm gonna access that phone.
Mhm.
I'm gonna copy down the. What the hell's that number called? The pin number.
IP or the IME.
Yeah, I take down the
IME.
IME number,
Mhm. Okay.
and then
Most of the numbers, again, a lot. Everything is it's character in Chinese. There are a lot of dirty cell phone pics, like selfies.
Uh-huh.
A couple of the owner of the phones, selfies, and some dick pics that were exchanged. So, in other words, it's a personal phone.
right.
Image wise, there is not a lot, but there's a small cluster of photos where you can see your tech. You can see a box with a panel. It was a component that was being manufactured for you by a Chinese by one of your Chinese partners,
Uh-huh.
and it was a component for your armor. And it was a cell phone. It was a badly rendered cell phone picture. The owner of that phone took it with a flash, so a lot of your it's just blown back because it's a highly reflective surface.
Right.
But it is your tech.
All right. I'm gonna download that image.
Mm-hmm.
I got the IME number off that phone,
Yeah.
so what I'm gonna do later on is I'm gonna start. I'm gonna track that phone through the IME later.
Okay.
And
It
bug
does have a full contact list, but again, everything's character
I've
is translated.
Copy it all. I download it all. I
Okay.
download it all because there's translators on the internet.
Right. So
I download it all.
that doesn't take any more than a couple of minutes, if that.
Looking over the cameras, anything else that I noticed
Um,
other than their retarded frustration?
aside from that, no.
All right. And there's there's only one phone connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to continue making them fumble around.
All right. That's not hard. They don't seem to be very good at what they're doing. Whoever's operating that laptop is intermediate level at best in terms of hacking ability. So you're not dealing with you're easy. It's easy for you to determine that you're not dealing with some tech pirates.
You're dealing with script kiddies. That's what they're called.
What he said.
All right. So like I said, I keep making them fumble around, playing around and stuff.
Okay.
Until I can find something of value other than the picture. 'Cause that picture was. Well, how about?
Yeah, it was
Later.
overexposed and blown out, so it wasn't. You just recognize your corporate logo on it, your company logo, and and you made out the component. It's something that you've been waiting for.
All right.
Okay. Now you guys on the outside. So Abby comes. She's like, "All right, so backup's en route, but they're dealing with something right now, so it's going to be about 20 minutes."
This is not an
So
emergency.
she's like, "What do you want? What are you going to do? What are we going to do?" So are we
I
going
say
here,
we,
or are we waiting?
let's check out this car real quick, and then we'll just scout the perimeter, just make sure we don't see anything too fishy.
Out of character, the SUV or the car or the car on the sedan.
Was the sedan the one with the
No,
jade
it
rims?
was the SUV.
That was the SUV.
And it's across the street, directly in front of the firehouse.
All right, let's check out the SUV. Yeah, let's do it quietly.
Okay. Not necessarily needing you guys to make prowl rolls. You sneak across the street. So she takes a position right at the front of the car with her gun trained towards the door, and she's just like, whatever you're doing, whatever you're gonna do it quickly. I don't
Right.
like being out there. She's like, this. We are way too exposed out here.
All right, all right. First things first, I'm checking through the windows with my flashlight,
Mm-hmm.
see if anybody's in there or if anything's sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Should I make a
oh,
perception
I'm
roll?
sorry. The driver and the front passenger windows are not tinted, but all the other ones are tinted jet black. The first thing you notice is an AK-47 in the passenger seat.
All right, I'm a motion for Abby to come and I'm gonna let her know.
So
Point that out to her.
She looks. She cranes her neck. She's like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "Okay, so we're waiting on backup, right?"
Yes, ma'am. Unless you want to go in guns blazing.
No, no, I don't. What's the matter with you?
I was making a joke.
No, oh yeah.
Gotta
this-
ease the tension a little
it's like,
bit.
this is the time for a joke. What do you think we are, Riggs and Murtaugh? Calm the fuck down. This is not how.
They
this
wish
is
they
going
were us.
down. It's like, oh, whatever.
I'm gonna lean in and be like, "Would that make me Joe Pesci?"
And I'm gonna jump back like, oh god, see, this is why you almost get shot every time.
It's like, Joe Pesci wasn't English. Dick. She just goes back to the front of the car and keeps her gun trained on the door. She's like, "Do you hear that?" And now you're paying it. Now you can hear this screaming. I don't want to say it. I don't want to do it because that's racist. They're all screaming in Chinese. Okay, so are you guys gonna just be posted out there?
I'm gonna look at Morgan. Yeah, I'm gonna give him like a signal, like should probably check that out. And then I'm gonna look at Abby. I'm like, we should probably get back to the car. Wait for backup. I'm gonna go scout ahead.
Okay. Wait. So you want her to go back to the car?
Yeah.
All right. So she said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a bigger gun." So she, she squat runs over there until she's out of sight. And so that just leaves you two guys. So what are you guys doing?
I have to find out who murdered my parents. They might have an answer. Let's go. I'm gonna go with my mace in hand or in my pocket so I can pull it out easily.
Okay, say that again.
I'm gonna have my mace in my pocket so I can pull it out easily in case I need to mace somebody, like some rapist,
Mace.
some rape victim.
Yeah.
I'm a superhero. Ah!
For the love of God, Morgan, don't do anything crazy.
Don't hurt me.
All right, I'm gonna follow close behind Morgan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
All right.
I'm gonna sneak in as quietly as possible.
Okay. The door has a small window, and then there are the three windows to the main garage door, but they're about 9 feet up off the ground. So you're not able to see that without being either boosted or having a ladder. The window to the door leads to a hallway, and then you can see a smaller another door to the right of that. And you can barely make out a couple of overhead lights, and you see three guys. They're all with their back to you, and they look like they're looking at a laptop and arguing. The two that are standing are just yelling at each other, and the guy that's sitting is just like waving his hands and just like whatever he's doing, he looks frustrated, and the other two guys are screaming behind him. So they're in a full-blown meltdown mode.
All right.
But that's all you see. The hallway itself goes further down to another door on the right at the end of that hall.
Right.
So at the far end of the garage. So you have the entrance to the garage to the right, and then the entrance to the garage further down, but also on the right.
So the individuals that are having the meltdown,
Mm-hmm.
are they screaming in English?
No, they're screaming in Chinese.
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out with my telepathy just to see if I can get the gist of what the hell they're arguing.
Okay. Doing that, you get Chinese.
Do I get any images?
No surface images, just a lot of yelling. The words are forming in their heads faster than they can come out of their mouths.
So if you want, I can try to roll my mace cannon and you can shoot it. It'll give us a chance to go in and subdue them.
What the hell? No! You guys are probably armed to the teeth. Come
Do
on.
we see any weapons on them? Look.
That's a very good question, and yes, they are.
Oh, okay. Now forget it.
The two that are standing, they have the holsters.
Mhm.
One has two with what looks like these fancy nickel-plated semi-automatic weapons, and the other guy he's holding in his hand a MAC-10.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna reach out to one of them and use my biomanipulation to cause him some pain, which will grab the other's attention.
All right.
Maybe give us enough to sneak by, or one of us at least.
Is it possible just to sneak by them past the door?
Well, considering everything I just explained to you, I can't tell you if it's possible. You have to just either take the chance and make the roll.
While they are distracted and screaming and going into a panic mode or whatever, sneak past the doorway.
All right. The door opens. It's not locked. But I'm going to make a roll because it did declare his action. Okay. Now, which one are you doing this on? MAC-10 or holsters?
Do it on a MAC-10.
Okay. So you reach out with your mind and you inflict pain with your psychic power. You can see him just immediately. He's holding in his hand the gun, and they're just arguing. Doesn't have his finger on the trigger, but he's holding in. They're both arguing. Like the guy who's arguing gives no shits that his partner, his man, is holding a MAC-10 and waving at him. So at this point, he immediately takes his hands to his head and hits himself with the damn gun. So he's just like, clack, and he hits the ground. The other dude's like, what the one that was sitting, he turns immediately and they're all just converging on their fallen comrade who it looks like knocked himself out. Now you, Morgan, you're going down the hall. All along the hall there were like empty frame squares. Where this was a firehouse. So it was just it's abandoned. It's been gutted for the most part. But that long hallway, there's another door at the end of that, and that door is slightly ajar because you can see light spilling out.
Take a peek, see what's in there.
You can hear clack.
From behind me or ahead of me?
No, coming. It's echoing. So
okay.
Both doors are open, so it's as you walk
right back.
As you walk through, you can hear the scream, the crack in the head, and then the fall, and then the other two are screaming at each other. So there's no stopping of the screaming. It just went from 3 to 2.
Oh. Go, keep going and see the door that's ajar with the light coming.
Okay. When you get to that, you're basically at the back of the firehouse.
Okay. See what's there.
Where to your right, you can see a table. You can see the power lines. You can not power lines, like a power. There's a table about 25 feet away from the door. That's where they are. Here's a folding table, a laptop. You can see a power strip. They have a Wi-Fi antenna. That's there. But beyond that, that's there's no one at the terminal now. They're closer to where you are, but they're not paying attention to you. So if you're looking in, the laptop's straight ahead, and they're at a 45-degree angle to your right.
So I'm gonna try to get away from them to see anything else in the area I can investigate.
Beyond that, no. It's empty for the most part. You do see. I'm sorry. It's because you're actively looking. You do see what looks like at the far end of the table on the ground, a long black, like a nylon bag, and it's zippered right across the middle of it, and it's zippered close.
Does it look like anything was in it or is in it?
It's puffed out, so yeah, it's about 7 feet long, like a giant duffel bag.
I'm gonna go back to Morgan, and I'm gonna let him know if you don't do anything, they're gonna kill that dude. They have a body bag waiting for him.
Sorry about that. I had to grab a dinner.
Sure.
So Morgan, oh, not Morgan, Ed. I'm calling to talk to
You're
myself.
Morgan.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be like Ed. I'm gonna go back to Ed and let him know. Look, if you don't do anything soon, they're gonna kill him and put him in the bag. The hacker or the computer guy. There's three. I'm gonna let him know. There's 3 of them in that room. One's on the computer, and the other 2 are frantic.
All right, so you telling me these 3 guys that we just messed with, these are the guys, only guys here.
That's all I saw. And they're gonna kill one of them.
All right. What to do?
Okay. Id roll a perception.
And I'm keeping an eye out as well, all the time.
Crazy Ivan. Okay. Then you roll perception too, please.
$20.
God dang.
Wow.
That's perception of the game. Skin cells and everything.
That's the only thing I'm good at.
It's like I
And
can
some
see
skills.
the moon. It's
You know, that's good that he muted.
okay. The what you guys notice, because you're back at the front looking in, right? You're inside, and that long hallway by the front door, it's open. To the right, in your peripheral, there was a spiral staircase going up to the next floor. You saw a face really quickly, and it just peeked its head, and it's looking at them. Now, this is you and this is Orion and Hector. You guys, you hear the commotion. You hear a scream. You hear the people. You hear it went from 3 to 2. Hector just looks down, and he's like, "Oh shit, there's a cop here, man." So he's just like, "Look," and you guys. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and peek over.
Okay. As you peek, they're looking dead at you.
It's a blue guy. No.
It was the wing of the FBI. It's a CSTF, is it?
The GSTF, Global Superhuman Task Force.
All right.
Just a fancy
So
title.
I'm going to kind of hold up the badge and say CSTF. Be careful in the telepathic message.
All right. Which one are you directing that message to?
Probably the first one I see.
Okay, that would be, well, that would be the white. That would be the Caucasian. You are Caucasian, yes, Morgan. You are English. Okay, it would be because he has the higher role, so he saw you first. He's just like, "There's the blue guy," just all loud and shit. Like, I see him. You. So you hear in your mind what he just said. As far as you understand psychics, but that's never been your experience. That's
It,
a completely weird shit that just happened to you. As a matter of fact, because of your character build, I'm gonna give you a save. Oh, okay. No, no. This is actually that's perfect. So yeah, you can hear him whisper that in your brain.
I'm gonna nudge him to he's psychic. He's in my head.
And I'm gonna look at him with deadpan face. Calm the fuck down. So am I.
Okay, so
But you're not blue.
Morgan is getting progressively louder. Just amping. He's amping himself up right now. It's like I want to mace someone now.
All right. And I got the same message that Morgan got, right?
No, he can only. It's not a group. It's not like a group thing.
Morgan, what did he say to you?
GSTF.
Oh shit! All right, come on. Let's back up out of here. Me back at my patrol car.
Okay.
Okay, so you're leaving the building.
I was never in the building.
I'm gonna follow suit with it, but I'm gonna ask it.
In order to see you and affect them, you had to have gone in the building.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought this was all.
You're by the exit, the egress. So you when you step in, there's a side door to go into the garage. So you didn't go far into the building. It's just one door and then the other door.
Okay,
so
right.
you guys are right there in that little section.
Right. I misunderstood you earlier.
Yeah. Okay, so are you leaving the building? Because you can't speak for him. He's just like I got blue guy, Chinese guys, mace.
I grab him by the shoulder and I say, "We got to go."
All right, this is what he's telling you.
Okay.
What does that mean? Are you leaving?
So, I'm gonna follow him, and I'm gonna ask him if it's possible to, if they get captured, or if they get arrested, can you ask them some questions about my family? Because it led me to here.
So you hear a loud whisper, hey, what the fuck is going on?
Look.
It's his partner. She's coming.
Wow.
She's coming.
Right,
she's coming from around the. Yeah, she's coming from around the other side of the from the driver's side of the SUV, and she makes her way over to you with her. You know, her gun is drawn, it's pointed down. She said, "What the fuck is going on?"
I whispered, "GFTF, GSTF."
She's like, "Are you fucking serious? This is one of these freak ops."
Yes, ma'am.
We definitely need to get the fuck out of here.
I'm already ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, you can hear the sirens coming.
And I'm gonna let him know that kid is probably gonna die.
Fuck it. Yeah, that kid. I'm gonna let her know. Like, there's a kid a hacker somewhere in there that.
It seems like they kidnapped and they're forcing him to do some stuff that's beyond his capability.
She's just like, "Oh my god! Why can't it just be a regular Thursday?" So
there's no powers.
So she looks at it. She's like, this is your thing. What do you want to do?
I'd rather wait for backup, but I'm not about to have a dead kid on my conscience. I say we roll in quietly.
All right, lead the way. She say she points to Morgan. She say, you need to stay out here.
Okay.
Like,
I'm gonna have my mace ready.
He's like, yes, I will stay out here.
I'm gonna telepathically reach out to Morgan and be like, be ready for anything.
Okay.
Patch,
as this is all happening, you saw from the one angle of the camera, one of the two guys that were arguing over the person that's operating the control's shoulders. He just like he whips the gun right at his own head, and just knocks himself out of the frame. And then the other two are just arguing. The bigger of the three, with the two sidearms, the two holstered, nickel-plated badass machines. He goes over to his friend. He's out of frame, and you distinctly make out what looks like a firehouse from the inside. You see the large door. There's some. You can see the pole, the spiral staircase. Now the webcam itself isn't very. It's not very good. It's not like it's not 4K. It's not 1080p. It's about 480p. It's an old webcam. So the dude is just. What you notice is that he is the programmer or the hacker. He's not hacking. You catch on to what he's trying to do. He's accessing the software, but he's shutting it down. As you're shutting it down fast, you were shutting it down and trying to scramble it around, but he's not really making a real good effort into breaking the system. Are you muted? Is he there?
Patch, Steve.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Did you hear that?
You
or
hear
you
me?
want me to repeat it?
You said that he wasn't. He was just trying to access the program itself, not really trying to hack into anything.
He wasn't trying to hack it at all.
Okay.
It looks like he was just trying to placate the. You know what I mean? Like if he, the way he's operating, the way he's operating this,
Uh-huh.
he could break it. It seems like he has the skills to access your software, but he's not.
Okay. So knowing that, figuring that out,
Hmm.
this is what I'm gonna do. So he's obviously a programmer,
Correct.
right? So in hexadecimal, I'm gonna give him a message. I'm gonna tell him to close his eyes.
So at that he's you can see he raises his hands off the keyboard and he's just like and types in, "Who is this?"
I repeat, close your eyes.
You know, he looks at the camera and he's just like,
So when he does that, I'm
Mhm.
gonna make the monitor,
Mhm.
the LED monitor. I'm gonna make it flash. I'm gonna make it flash mad bright in that dark ass room.
"Okay." You guys from the outside and from upstairs see this huge flash, and one of the bigger of the three, he's just like, "Ah, what the?" He's just now he's screaming at the program. The program is just like, he's not taking an aggressive posture, but he's screaming. So that's what I'm gonna go to Orion and Hector. He's like, "What the fuck is
Uh,
going on?" He's like,
so-
"Do we do anything?" He said, "Oh,
So for first things 1st, I
Mhm.
did finish in filling out my languages in
Mhm.
my secondary skills, and if you take a look at that list, you'll see where I'm going with it.
okay."
Do I understand what they're saying? Then obviously.
Yeah. So the bigger guy, he's yelling at he's yelling at the other dude, and he's just like, "What did you do?" He said, "You did something." He said, if you don't get this working and get what we need, I'm gonna put a bullet in you. I'm gonna put a bullet in your head, and I'm gonna put a bullet in your mother, your sister, and your brother's head. They're all dead. So you get this working. We need this working right now. So what did you like? They're arguing, and then the guy's just like, "I don't know what happened. This thing." He's like, "You brought me a piece of shit to break this. I can't break this. This thing is military grade." So they're both going back and forth. Now the big guy's just you can all tell that he's just getting more and more agitated. The other guy is
Okay.
on the floor. He's finally coming to what's going on? He's like, "What happened?" And then he's like, "Little Johnny here is just fucking with us, and we're gonna have to." He's like, we're gonna have to call some friends and bring his family over to motivate him."
All right. So when the one guy was beating himself with the gun,
Mm-hmm.
uh, can I roll an intelligence check to see if I would recognize that as maybe a psionic mind control thing? So I'm guessing that's.
You would have to have the lore for psionics, but if you didn't, no.
Okay.
I will
In
give
that
you
case,
that after if you get exposed to that more, that's something that yes, you might be able to discern. But as of right now, no.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to send a telepathic message to Hector. Says, if it goes down, don't worry about protecting me. Just try and get that kid out.
All right. So at this point, you can see he takes an inhale and he closes his eyes and his entire skin turns into like a rocky surface.
All right.
And so he's like, "I'm ready, Holmes." His voice gets really deep. He's like, "I'm ready, Holmes. Let's do this."
Okay, so I'm going to try and get a better angle to hit with my stun pistol.
Hmm.
And if it looks like the guy's gonna shoot the kid or anything, then I'm gonna shoot my stun pistol at him.
Okay. I need you to roll perception. Okay. Now, you hear what sounds like a wood creaking, and your eyes immediately train to where Hector is standing, and below him, you can see the wood underneath him is splintering. And he's like, so he's like, oh shit. He's like, oh shit. He looks down, he looks at you, he's like, oh shit, and he goes right through the floor.
All right.
You guys hear this?
At that, I'm going to aim at the main guy and pull the trigger on my stun pistol.
All right, main guy being two guns or
What's
Mac
that?
10. Two guns or Mac 10.
The not the one that was beating himself.
Okay,
The other one.
so
I
the
think
other
it's two
guy.
guns in it.
All right, make it 20. Roll a strike.
Oh.
Okay. So with that one, man, he's new and he's already fumbling. So you take your aim, but you're off balance and you shoot the programmer. He's like, and he falls over, smashes the laptop. The two guns reaches immediately and grabs both his guns, and he turns in your direction. Not only because of the crash, but because his little buddy just got stunned. The other guy's getting up off the ground. He's still groggy. You can see blood coming from his scalp, but he cocks his weapon and he's training it in your direction as well. Well, mostly in Hector's direction because he fell through the floor. Now, you two guys, while Morgan, you're outside, it would be Id. You hear the crash. You walk in. You come into the door to your right. Immediately, the door's to your right, so directly ahead, something had fallen through the floor. There's a lot of dust. There's a lot of dust, and it's right by the spiral staircase. And all you hear, oh shit! I think I broke something. And you see this big Rocky Chicano just stands up, and you can hear. You also hear this. You're able to. This all happens in like 10 seconds. So he falls through the floor. The programmer gets stunned and breaks the laptop. He doesn't fall through the table, but he jumps out of his seat, lands on the laptop, and then falls backward off the chair onto the ground.
As the laptop flies.
As the laptop is snapped in half and flies over the backside of that table. The big dude takes out his weapons, and he's going in. He looks like he's training him in your direction, but he is actually training him at the big dusty. He looks like.
Chairs?
No, I'm trying to say, his features are now indistinct, meaning he has like slits for eyes, and he was wearing a bandana, but now he has no eyebrows. He has a small goatee, but he has no lips. His ears are gone, and you could parts like his fists, his elbows, they're jutting out. So clearly he's a metahuman. And he's huge. When he stands fully, he's about 6'7".
That's a big bitch. All right, I look at my partner like,
So she's
you
like,
ready?
what? She's like, fuck. So she's like, freeze, LIPD. She comes in.
Lou, you read what I wrote, right? I sent you
No. Where'd you send it to?
on 20, which I find it hilarious because this is a private message on the damn screen. Everyone sees it. So
Right, I was just gonna say, the best to use the chat for Zoom
okay.
if you're gonna send me a private. Right. Okay. Okay, I got you. Do you have engineering?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There isn't an engineering I don't have.
Okay, I got you. All right. So you're attempting to disable their vehicle while everyone is in combat. Roll initiative, please.
I am not a combat character, so
You're not in combat.
This is just to determine the order. All right.
I mean I can fight, but not that well.
Okay. No. Morgan doesn't roll initiative.
Oh, okay.
And Id, you're rolling for both of you and your partner.
All right. Let me roll for her too.
No. Your roll was for both. And there's no need to
Oh,
make two
okay.
separate rolls.
I thought I rolled.
So 15, 13. You would get an initiative if you're going to attempt to do something, Patch. So we'll do that in terms of if you're going to take an action. Because you are literally remote. You're just doing this from your bed like, holy shit. I just wanted to go to sleep. It's like, honey, put away your games. Stop playing those fucking games online. Jesus, go to sleep.
I could do something.
It's like, I'm trying to stop a crime. It's like, yeah, right. Turn the light off, please.
If she gets snippy, I'll stream it so she can see.
Okay, hold on a second. So Gabe rolled a 7. I rolled a 13. So bad guy. 13. Id. Actually, Patch goes first. So you're seeing all this shit go down, and then at one point, the feed cuts out.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is
Mhm.
I'm gonna spool up the guy's cell phone
Mm-hmm.
and make his battery blow up in his pocket.
Okay. Roll a hacking. All right. Next would be Id. So you
Right.
you and Abby. She's already yelling at him to freeze. I'm sure you understand that the likelihood of that happening is not very high, but
I don't know. It might be pretty high.
So what are you doing?
Around the corner, guns ready too, and I use biomanipulation to try to paralyze
Okay, make a roll.
that strike. The strike I use isn't hand to hand.
Yeah, it would just be a regular 20. Oh, wait. No, by manipulation, you don't need to make a strike roll. I just need to make a save. I'm sorry.
That'd be great.
Okay. No, you don't need to make a strike roll. It's,
Yeah, I know. I did that before you said.
Okay. So his will is very strong. You don't. It's not your psychic power is not taking any effect on him right now. His eyes and his mind are trained in Hector's corner, and he takes his shots. As he's going to take his shots, you can see this glow coming from his pocket, and it just explodes outward, and he just reaches down. He's like, ah, and shoots himself. He's like, ah, ah. He hits the ground. He shoots himself in the foot. His partner is next. He's just standing up like, holy shit. He takes his little semi-automatic and points it at Hector and takes his shots. Okay. He shoots a burst and in Hector's direction, but there's so much dirt and debris that's still in the air. You don't know if it's hitting him. Hector's just putting his hands across his, like he's doing the DBZ and then putting his crossing his arms over his face. Next would be Gabe. Oh, I'm sorry, Orion.
All right, let's go with the pew pews.
Nice.
Oh my god!
It's a hit.
It is a hit. Technically, it is a hit. Okay. So which one were you hitting the MAC-10 guy? Because the other one's on the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
It hits him. He just like he hits the ground. Okay. So two guns. He's holding his severely bleeding leg, his foot. Morgan, you finally hear the gunshots, and you're pulling the cables out. You can see at least 3 squad cars. They pull up, screeching to a halt. A bunch of them get out. It's like hands in the air, get out from under there, get out. It's like put your hands up, LAPD. Like stop or I'll shoot. No, I'm just kidding.
They were shot already.
Like I'm white.
You're not white enough.
I can't do anything wrong.
It's like wait, he's British. You can go, sir.
Is that a tan?
All right. So what are you doing?
Well, do they see me?
Dude, you're under the car. So, yeah, as they pull up, they have their lights.
So I come out
Okay.
and I hold my hands up.
So, they do the standard, get on the ground, hands behind your head,
I
crawl
listen
on
to
your
them
belly, do the Macarena.
on the floor.
One of the officers comes over to you, and he puts his really heavy knee in the middle of your back. He proceeds to cuff you. The other officers are storming the building. So the guy that's on top of you he's not letting you move. So don't move. I'll blow your fucking head off. I don't care if you're white.
Called for, sir.
It's like this was uncalled for. It's like, oh shit, it's Jarvis. We gotta let him go. At this point, you guys from behind you can see the officers coming in, yelling and screaming, and they storm in. You're able to make that arrest. As they come in, the foot guy, he's just like, oh, my foot, call 911.
Call 911.
The other guy's on the floor, just spazzy, twitchy, suffering from a concussion that he gave himself, and the kid, the programmer, the programmer, he's still on the ground recovering from an unwitting stun blast from a botched roll. Okay, they're able to cuff. They cuff everybody, and the senior officer he comes over to he's like, which one of you called it in? They go through the motions. So he's just like, all right. So as they bring them out, they call a bus. I watch TV like everybody else to get that guy in. All in all, it's about 30 minutes before. Now, you guys, Orion, are you going to make your presence known? because what Hector tried to do was he couldn't get out because the spiral staircase would not support his weight. So he just stood there with his hands up, and he had shifted back to his human form.
I would, yes. I'd let them know. Let any of the cops know that any of them I can see that CSTF on the top floor, and I'd hold my badge out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's unnerving, but they don't necessarily shoot you right away. The whole mobile debriefing, squad lieutenant had shown up about 30 minutes in. Let's see. So Lieutenant Charlie Groves, and he's first things first is that he comes over to you and just like, I've seen you before, but you're that new MetaFed, right?
I'll shake my head.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what I'm doing with my face. He's like, you know what happened here? So why are you here? Is this some sort of op that you're running with my guys? Is that without our consent, without letting us know, without cluing us in?
I'll send him the message. No, we were meant to be observing, but unfortunately my contact fell through the floor, which initiated hostilities.
So at this, he's just like, what the fuck? Was that in my head? Are you talking to my head? He's like, did you guys hear that? There's two officers to his left and right, like, what the fuck are you talking? He's like, they're looking at him like, what are you doing? He's like, what? Was that it?
I'll tell him that I have no vocal cords and that the only communication I have is telepathic.
He's like, all right, buddy, listen here. I don't need. It's like, don't fucking. Stay out of my goddamn head. You understand me? You stay out of my. You want to get in his head? Get in Johnson's head. He's an idiot. Sorry, Johnson, but seriously, talk to that guy. She's like, fucking stay out of my head, goddamn freaks. So he walks in. He makes a beeline straight for you, Id, and you and Abby. So he's just like, and you two, little out of your range here. Why are you here? Are you working with this freak?
No, sir. Another person here, I believe the officers over there have him apprehended. His name is Morgan. He's a friend of mine. He gave me a call about some suspicious stuff. It was a quiet night. I figured we could roll over here and just check it out. He's a little paranoid, so I just wanted to put him at ease.
Something like that limey kid?
Yes, sir. He's not on there. I try to look out for him.
So it's just like, so what's that? So what's the blue freak doing here?
Well, it turns out Morgan happened to have been right. There was something suspicious going on here.
It's like, I'll say.
I don't have all the details, but
it's like, and you just came in not looking. It's like you only called in backup after you entered the building.
No, I called back up before I entered the building.
So he's like, so what the hell? Like, he walks over to his detectives, and they had called in a CSI, cyber crimes, and they're looking at the equipment. You see, they open up the bag. The cyber crimes. You guys can see it. Orion, you can see it from a distance. Hector's in the corner. He's on his knees with his hand behind his head. He knows the drill. And as they zip it open, one of the guys, he pulls out what looks like a space gun. It's all silver. It's about 4 feet long, and he's just like, what the hell? It's unmarked. It has no discernible markings, but there is a component in the what if there was a clip. There's a what looks like a clip, and right above it, there's on the face of it, there's a component that's missing, and on the table there was that component that looks like it fits in. It's like it was a jigsaw puzzle. So, everyone's inching towards it. The lieutenant's talking with the guy. He's just like, I don't know what the fuck this is, Lieutenant. This looks like next level shit. It's like, if the triads are getting into high tech weaponry like that, we're fucked. It's all right. Calm down. You know, they're going back and forth, and you notice Patch. What was your company's name? I can't remember.
It was Narcian Technologies.
Okay, so you see the symbol and a small emblem that was laser etched into that component, and you know who it is. You know who that belongs to anyway. I'm talking to Id.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
The component that looked like it fit into that gun has the company logo and the name of Patch's company on the side of it. So the lieutenant's just like, all right, tag it, bag it, we'll bring it in, get those guys. He says, the younger, dumber one. He said that kid, he had a concussion, so they had to take him in. The other guy, they're already processing. The other guy, he's in surgery for his foot. So I said, Jesus, what the hell were they doing with this? How the hell did they get this? So everyone's just stumped right now, and fortunately enough, Hector, they were able to release Hector to Orion's charge, and the lieutenant is like, all right, so this is out of your jurisdiction, there, Blue Man Group. So you're gonna have to head on out of here. And I may not report this to your superiors.
I'm nodding, send Hector a message. Come on.
So he says to tell you, thank you, officer. You are the best policeman ever, and we will be going now. Just get the fuck out of here. So, bids you two adieu. We say, and you two, you know you're going to have to fill out all the paperwork tonight.
Sir, yes, sir. I'll take care of it.
This is it's like, and Mr. Bean. So he's just like, he's talking to you, Morgan. You're Mr. Bean.
I can't. I have a cop with his knee in my back. I'm on the floor.
No. This is like a half an hour later, so they
okay.
let you up.
So then I come over.
So he's like, mind telling me what the hell you were doing here? It's like, are you some sort of PI or something?
I'm gonna put on my international private investigator license that I pay $5,000 for.
He looks at it. He's like, this looks like something that was made downtown. It's like, what is this supposed to mean?
It was
something?
made in England.
So he's like, is this supposed to mean something to me? I probably fished this out of a Cracker Jack box.
I happened to be in this area, since that's what you wanted, and I saw some strange happenings. And I was a little lost since I'm not from this area.
So you decided to involve two of my officers in a potential meta firefight.
I called Mr. Id.
Not Id. Id. Jonathan.
I mean, Jonathan. I know your name.
Like, I called this guy. He's a psychic. He's a metahuman.
I called the police officer named Jonathan for some assistance. And when you individuals are coming over, I was startled by your sirens because we don't have really those. The sirens in England are a lot less ear-piercing. That I was shuddered and I hit the ground.
All right. Your voice is hurting my head. look, just get the fuck out of here.
Thank you. I'm gonna look at it, his badge number and everything, and his name, everything where he spells it. Memorize his face as I go.
He's like, you're staring at me a lot. And he pistol whips you.
Ah!
Okay. All right. Well, I am going to stop it here, gentlemen. You're able to process them. That information, as far as patch is concerned, once they check it in, you also get a call from one of your buddies that happens to be working cyber crimes, and he lets you know that one of your component, a CPU, a very, very powerful and expensive CPU with your name on it, was just checked into evidence. So you didn't hear it from me, but you heard it from me.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
I gotta figure out where it came from.
Right. And on that note, I'm going to stop it here. Thank you guys a lot. I appreciate this pilot program here, and we will pick this up next in 2 Thursdays from now. If we do any more one shots, I'll put out feelers and let you guys know. I'm planning on trying to do one shots, just until we can get a more so we can
Able schedule.
solidify a schedule. Yeah.
All
So
right.
I will talk to you guys later. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys had fun. This was
No, it was-
definitely,
Always. Don't forget to
definitely
post XP.
weird.
XP. Oh,
All right, take it easy. I'll send you guys. PMs.
We need
with
sustenance.
Yeah, right. I'll send you guys PMs with your XP.
Alrighty.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're stunning victims. What are you talking about?
shooting everybody.
It's
If he
just-
would have rolled the box
And-
himself, he would have shot himself.
That would have been.
by the way, for future reference, they do get a save on that stun.
oh, okay.
It's non-lethal poison of.
It's just
14.
it's just funnier that way. So
You're muted.
16 about him.
Am I muted?
No,
No, we can hear you.
No, I said okay. So just Gabe, you don't know. I don't necessarily. I'm not a rules lawyer. Sometimes I'll just
Yeah.
forego certain things if I don't. If it feels if it's a flow thing, I'll just forego it. It just
Yeah,
happened
if
to
it
work
feels
that way.
clunky, he keeps it.
It just
Yeah, I just didn't want you going, man, the stun gun. I really shouldn't have given this guy the stun gun.
Just promise to never discharge any weapons near me. I don't want any more incidents.
We've gone with a lot bigger and nastier weapons, so
Yeah.
trust me, that little stun gun is like choo choo choo. It's not.
Yeah,
don't worry
no,
about it.
the stun gun is just it's dangerous to.
It's a party favor.
to innocent bystanders. He's a threat. He's a menace.
No ancient relics for you.
All right, fellas. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
And
Anytime.
Everybody else.
Take
have
it
fun.
Take it
easy,
easy.
All right.
all right. See you.
Bye.